it's usually good to have a cadence when one is counting in a show, I find, as opposed
It's
to, not doing that.
a
But
big deal.
yeah,
Not
I find.
really.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hi, all there, friends, families, and furry freaks everywhere, and welcome to another disturbing installment of this Disinformed After Dark. I'm Shane.
And
And
I'm
I'm Michael.
Michael.
They're trying. They're trying really hard to please you, and I don't know why you don't just take their love.
Please. I need
But
it.
in case you don't know, we are three of the incredibly popular hosts of the wildly, insanely famed podcast, the Disinformed podcast, which flees your preferred provider app every marvelous Monday morning. We talk about random esoterica and we lie about it. It is delightful. And on last week's episode, we were discussing the concept of the last meal for a death row inmate. And it was a very interesting bit of discourse, and there were a lot of very particular perspectives espoused by my colleagues here as to what might motivate some choices or cause random noises to go off.
You got his attention.
I'm afraid not. But so in any event, it's we elected to I'm trying real hard to be the shepherd this week, friends. I really am. I'm not sure it's going to work. Doc, why don't you start typing something and let's just, get the full...
I shifted in the chair to sit up.
Your microphone is more sensitive than you've given it credit for, friend.
Listen, sir, I had
I'm
historically
trying to listen, and
muted
that's
the
what the
button.
problem is.
Muted
the button?
Hit the mute button, rather. But I hit the mute button, and it's not good enough for you. I don't hit the mute button, and it's not good. How do I please you? Not the fans, you, sir.
Turn your camera off and get the hell out of here.
Goodbye.
All right, so in any event, we were talking about the things that one might conceivably want to do to game plan for a last meal if one were, say, incredibly vindictive and wanted to torment one's captors like the good Doc would. I imagine he'd probably scooch his chair around, 12 or 13 times and a very dexterously typed missive to his captors whilst also preparing to unleash the brown bomb on everyone once he'd shuffle loose the mortal coil. But we elected to discuss what our possible final meals might be. And because I know that Michael has given this a significant amount of thought, I'm going to move away from having him be the first entrant here.
Dang.
Doc, you talked about a lot of similar things on the episode of what you feel might comprise, but I feel that was more of a thought project for you. What would you say your actual last meal might consist of?
Well, I think we need to set some parameters here to start. Are we talking... What was the eye roll for there, sir?
Here we go.
What state am I getting executed in? What are the parameters?
I do not feel like my simple question was...
It's not simple at all.
All I wanted to know is, are we setting a dollar amount? Is it something that we have to... Because you pointed out that sometimes it's only what the prison might have on hand. So do we need to consider that? Or is it anything under the sun?
I also wouldn't even say that we have to keep it within the caveat of this is your death row last meal. I'm thinking purely of the fact of if as the one New York dinner group would ask, like you're about to shuffle loose of the mortal coil, what's the last thing you're going to eat?
Okay.
So take some of the restrictions off. Just what is the thing that you would want to be your final sort of synaptic sensory experience, at least with your mouth, before you go tripping into the loam, which I'm trying to avoid your explosive defecation premise that you had previously.
Again, that wasn't about me. It was about
a friend.
Death row inmates wanting to have the last middle finger at the world. I asked my questions as if I was an audience member wanting to kind of delve deep and pick our brains.
Strange simulacrum here, I think. But
so
Curious.
To answer your question, I think I would want, I would want some garlic bread. I would want
like Mrs. Beard before you, I see. Okay.
Yes, I'd want a dish of tortellini, but with a vodka sauce with goat cheese, broccoli, cauliflower, and bacon cooked in with it. It's really good. It's really good.
See, I like those things, but
No, trust me. You when you do the tortellini, you put you melt the goat cheese into it.
I love
with
goat
the bacon.
cheese. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yeah,
Broccoli and cauliflower, I'm not sure is a marriage for me
it's
those things.
really good.
For you, yes, I'm sure.
Yeah, and then the garlic bread, I'd want it stuffed with cheese.
Naturally.
And then outside of that, I'd not a filet mignon. I'd probably some sort of strip steak or something like that. Something with some fat content to it.
Tawdry.
And
take it off, baby.
Oh man, show me some of that fat content.
I'd probably want a nice
Was that a
Chianti.
shot at my weight, sir?
No, absolutely not. I would never treat you so terribly like that.
About to get Johnny Bravo on you here, like, oh, mama. I'll show you my fat content, baby.
Ooh.
Oh. All right, I'm sorry, Doc. I do not intend to keep cutting you off.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I was kind of lost in the meal itself, anyhow.
So strip steak.
Yeah, like some sort of fatty content steak. I'm not entirely certain it would be strip, but we'll call it maybe a New York strip. The
No prime rib, maybe. Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
He's not one of those fancy bougie
I want
types.
I want something that I could get like a nice sear on, or so it'd have that nice crust to it. Yeah, and so then the tortellini, the garlic bread, that definitely a nice Chianti to go with it. Yeah, that's right. Yes. Maybe a cab. Scratch that. A Tempranillo. I'd want a Tempranillo to go with it.
Where's the cab taking you?
Well,
could have said an Uber or something, be a little more modern, but
no. But I'd go with the Tempranillo to complement it. I'd want an assortment of cheese.
Fancy cheeses?
Yes.
Aged fancy cheeses?
Aged and some smoked.
Okay.
That's why I like
Jesus
the hint
Christ.
Along with some strawberries and blueberries. And I think that would be it for the meal. And then I'd probably want carrot cake to close it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
A very
a lot of
rabbit
food
from Winnie the Pooh of you. But
well, it's a lot of food, but it's also my last meal, Michael.
And remember, he wants to be miserable on his way into the
no, I just mean it's not like I got to watch my figure at this
from
point.
Domino's.
Yes.
It's not like I have to worry about, cholesterol levels or anything. So
exactly.
And actually to that point, I'd probably go ahead and toss on a loaded baked potato as well, just because I don't think I'd eat very much of it. But if it's my last meal, I think I'd want a little bit of it along with the steak, because I was initially thinking, well, the tortellini would be sufficient, but that's under the guise of like a regular living. But if it's like the last meal, I'm like, even if I only have a bite or two of it, I think I'd want that to go along with the steak.
Don't want to get maybe like a couple like potato wedges, just throw some sour cream and chives on there, or
no, I think I'd go with
potato.
I'd want the loaded baked potato there, where we've oiled, done a nice olive oil and sea salt rub on the outside skin to get it nice and crispy there, and then just
like
with the chives
potato
and
wedge, but
No,
but a potato wedge,
not.
No, a potato wedge is too exposed, so like you're getting too much of the inside of the potato too crispy.
Yeah, the nice fine potato meat would just be way too crispy. It's got to be nice and soaked, so that when you cut open
I'm not that potato person, apparently.
I don't even think you're Irish, man.
I hate a baked potato. I can't stand baked potatoes.
Well, I'm not a huge baked potato person either. It's just which is why I initially skipped it. But
I want a sour cream delivery device. Okay, got it.
No, I was just thinking that if it's my last meal, I probably want a bite or two of like the cheesy bacon, the
Reasonable.
whole 9 yards. And so then I was like, well, even if it's just like I said, I wouldn't normally have thrown that out with the meal, which is why I didn't bring it up at the start. But I'm like, if it's my last meal, even if I just want a bite of it, to hell with it.
And then I would call Chloe 2 times, and then
you'd get another meal.
Oh, well, I didn't know we could eat that. I mean,
here we go.
I regret saying everything.
I regret asking this question in the first place, but now that we're in 2 feet deep, Michael, What's tickling your pickle?
You know, especially after you was talking about the strip steak, and I thought about it, I would really like some Kobe beef because
Oh, nice.
I would never eat that anyway.
I've never had
But
it either. That's a
yeah,
brilliant choice.
yeah, I figured might as well in for a penny, in for a pound. I'm going to be dead. What does it matter? I would love to try it. And I feel like that would be my approach to other things. I would probably give myself a little bit more time to sit down. I'd want to try things that I know I would never try and sample before. Like, I don't know, I'd try caviar because, I mean, Doc made a good point. I don't have to finish it. So I might as well just try and experience a bunch of new things as best as I can.
Caviar is really good too.
Yeah.
Overpriced, but really good.
Oh, I mean, it's fancy fish eggs. So that's pretty much all you're going for. But I do know that I would really like, as opposed, like, in addition to all the fanciful things that I would probably want a little bit of time to look into, I do really enjoy like expertly crafted Brussels sprouts. Like maybe Brussels sprouts that have been cooked in some fine sort of like juice or something like.
But like the crispy ones too, where they get like the nice crispy
ones
outside
like,
but soft on the inside still.
They get roasted fine with some olive oil, like something simple, but then like they get soaked in with some other sort of like maybe some shallots, with some sort of cooked in some sort of base or something like that. I don't know, but like just I love Brussels sprouts, and I love when they are roasted in that way, like you said, when they're soft on the inside, but like it got
when
a nice
well
crisp.
Roasted Brussels sprouts with some candied jalapenos and some bacon. Oh, that's a meal right there.
I'm good. Well, no, I would be fine with that. That would be perfect. And so like, the other thing that I would think of is I really love mint ice cream, which is funny considering, you know, who was it that had the mint ice cream, the 2 gallons? Yeah, exactly. So
not Dahmer.
No.
The Oklahoma City bomber.
Oh, LaFay.
LaFay. Timothy McVeigh.
LaFay, whatever. They're close enough.
Yeah.
LaFay, McVeigh.
You're stealing my answers, but you know, go on.
Yes. So I would end with that. So I know that I would just, a lot of my meal would just be things that I've never tried before. It would be really cool to try, just so I know that I've tried them. If I like them, cool. If I don't have to eat them because I don't.
Milk too?
2 quarts.
Okay.
But it's got to be like milk from like, I don't know, the cows of Japan or something like that.
Oh, how about breast milk?
Maybe.
We've had the discussion about breast milk ice cream before.
Yeah.
Come on.
No. I also just want to quickly amend my answer, and you might actually hop on with this, Michael, as well. But I would definitely want to have an appetizer for sushi. Probably get some unagi.
You can't say that on YouTube anymore.
Also, touche. You're right. I would do some nice, like good sushi. Maybe some rolls that I hadn't tried before. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
I'll eat
Is that
one.
fat shaming again?
Maybe. But yeah, my answer isn't as detailed, but that would be the sort of ethos that I would go about with it.
What about you, sir?
I feel like I should have had Courtney on instead of me, because at this point I'm
Oh, that would have been she would have given just the perfect answer.
Oh, naturally. And probably would have, you know, taken less time. But in any event, I am a man of very simple tastes. And so you know, I just want 6 Doritos Locos Tacos, and then I'll be good.
Just 6? Nothing else?
I kid. I have, so for the longest time, I had kind of, you know, I love Mexican food in general. So that's, I noticed that everybody kind of floated to a general. It was initially Italian, and then it just became, you know, a goulash, if you will, for Doc. And I was thinking, but over the years, I experienced different things, and I'm all about comfort. And so I feel like, as a creature of habit, my last meal would very likely consist of what is become one of my favorite meals, which became the meal I would get on my birthday each year. Phoenix has a glorious seafood restaurant called Papado, which I would absolutely recommend if you're in the Phoenix metropolitan area. It's very well worth checking out.
In Austin as well.
Oh, okay. Well, so they have a blackened catfish, and then they have a shrimp etouffee with some dirty rice that they pair all of that with. It's an exquisite meal. I also like blackened salmon, and I am a goon for a swordfish steak. So it seems to me seafood is going to be the way I'm going to go out.
Swordfish, nice.
Yes. So if I throw all those things together, and then obviously I'm going to need a lot of coffee because those are the things I'm going to go with on the way out. And if I can have anything, I'm going to order a lot of those. And I'm not particular. I'll take anything you have on hand. I'm just going to run with it. I have not had any of the 6-year-old Tim Hortons that has been aged to a fine par excellence. But maybe I'll dabble that way. And then I'm a cheesecake goon. So if I can rock a little bit of that to end the evening, that would be delightful.
And speaking of cheesecake, it was something I was going to bring up during last week's episode. In Canada, once every 2 weeks, they are served cheesecake at least in the medium security prisons. Yeah,
Dang.
so they get cheesecake there. I thought of it when you were talking about how some of the prisons there are having trouble, feeding and the prisoners as it is. And I was thinking, wow, it's so different in other countries there where you get cheesecake and whatnot. So
yeah, I mean, we can talk about the criminalization of a particular class of individuals and the reason that our prisons are so chock full of folks in the United States, but that's a topic for an entirely dramatically different group of listeners, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So in any event, I just had a single thing, very limited meal. I'm not one of those where I feel like, as I said, I don't want to leave this world miserable. I'm not going to order 80 things and then try a little bit of everything. The sad thing is, as I'm cresting into middle age here, the thought that I had is like the last few times I've had that, it has destroyed me with the amount of acid reflux that I suffer from any of those spiced things as I'm getting older. And I was like, at least I wouldn't have to worry about the indigestion because I probably won't be feeling it after a minute anyway. So,
given your love of Mexican or Hispanic food in general, have you had like a good pozole? Do you like it?
Excuse you? I'm not a dabbler. No, I have not.
Oh, it's a really good soup. So if you ever see,
I'm familiar with the concept. I'm meats and I have a very interesting relationship. So generally, I tend to avoid certain things, and yeah. So sausages, gumbos, gut content, or other things, I tend to eschew if I can help it.
Oh no, I agree. Menudo is
exactly
an acquired taste. I would avoid that, but pozole, but it is really good. But when you mentioned Mexican food, that popped into my head is, I wouldn't mind that as an appetizer as well. But then it would become this like World's Fair where I'm having like unagi alongside my pozole and then my tortellini. But I guess if I'm going out, yeah, what the hell?
The unfortunate thing about this entire discussion, not a single sliver of French cuisine has managed to insert its foot here, and they are supposed to be, the height of the Epicurean delight.
Well, many of my cheeses would likely come from France.
Well,
he did say exotic cheeses, which are either
I don't think he
aged,
said exotic cheeses, but
fancy cheeses that are either aged or smoked.
Yeah. The wine, though, since I did say Tempranillo, that would be more of a Spanish wine as well. So yeah, I guess France isn't too well represented on any of our tables.
Indeed. So the gourmands amongst you out there are probably just, lip a quiver and in full disgust of all of our discussions here.
Oh, but a baked brie.
Here he goes.
That would be good.
Calm down. You can keep your charcuterie board to yourself, my friend.
I'm just talking about this. I'm thinking I might have to spend the next week or two living out my last meals here.
All right. Well, calm your carcucci and we'll get this thing done. And then you can go eat whatever the heck you want to. But so thank you all for being here with us. Hopefully this was as entertaining to you as it was for me. My eyes are still in my skull, so I didn't try that hard. But as always, we have this sort of content winging your way every lovely Monday on our preferred podcast provider apps with new episodes of the podcast. And of course, material winging your way Fantastic Fridays here on the Tubes of You, so you can enjoy that. And if you have enjoyed it, I can see him just coiled up like a spring, ready to strike. Michael has some instructions for you.
You can smash that like button, ring the bell, leave a comment, hit subscribe, set phasers to engage.
Indeed.
Delicious.
And as we have commonly encouraged, and Jess will answer the call, hopefully, I'm sure. I'm casting views at the rest of you who are not engaging with the comments out there. You know who you are. But tell us what your final meal would be at the moment. Be as glib as you'd care to, and as detailed, because as you learned from Doc, it's, you know, all things are appropriate here.
I have the gift of gab. It's true.
Gap?
Gab.
No
Sell
holds
great clothes.
barred. That's what we say. So, all right. For Hulk Hogan and Zeus out there, we hope you had a delightful time with us this evening. Of course, there is a link tree in the show notes below to take you to all of our irrelevant socials if you are so inclined, and you can further engage there if you would like to. I will not cast aspersions. You're more than welcome to. And of course, you can enjoy all those pictures of the newly minted dead that Doc will be posting as he begins to wreak havoc.
A little Soussaint for you all.
Indeed, indeed. Watch the light leave their eyes. It will be a delight. And so, for how appropriate the title of our show for Disinformed After Dark this week, I am, in fact, Kenton Eldorado,
I am Robert Greer.
aka a disappointment.
Oh no, I forgot what the second name was supposed to be. I know the first is the street. No, I know it's street and
Middle
something.
name.
No,
Middle
yes,
name and street.
Cherry Leroy.
Cherry Leroy.
It's Leroy Cherry. Thank you.
It's middle name and then
Leroy
street.
Cherry.
Leroy Cherry.
I'll Leroy his cherry. And with that, zippity zoop, we're out of here.